London. Camden again.
Descent into madness.
Another huge twist to Urban Robinson Crusoe. I'm back in London. I had an offer I couldn't refuse. A one-bedroom flat in St John's Wood, very select part of London. It's near Primrose Hill and Regent's Park. It's so strange being here. After my emotional life was turned upside down by being by Brighton for 1.5 years. I'm not the same person coming back to London, and I feel lost and bewildered. I hope I can gain some control over my state of mind. I've been here a month!
If I am to go mad, I may as well write about it and try and be creative with it.
The first people to become aware that you're different are strangers. They look at you surreptitiously or avoid looking at you at all. They either stare or they actually don't see you because subconsciously they don't want to. Like the time I met my friend Geoffrey in a coffee bar locally. I ordered a coffee and after about 20 minutes I realised I'd never had it, so I called the waitress over and I asked her if she heard me order. She said she did, but she forgot. I wouldn't mind if the cafe was crowded, but it wasn't. There was only Jeff and me.
People seem to get very irritated by you when you're around in the streets. Once, a woman said to me one day, when it was pouring with rain,
You should go that way.
as though I was in her way. I was nowhere near her.
I'm in the supermarket when I wanted to buy some green cigarette papers. The woman asked who was next, so I walked up to the counter and I said, a packet of green cigarette papers, please. And I asked how much, because at the time I forgot a lot of things. And she really shouted!
18 pence!
No, please. No, thank you. When I gave her the money. So I hung around to see if she was normally like that, or whether that was just part of her nature. She was nice as pie to the next customer she served, and he was black! It's more acceptable socially to be black than mad.
What chance do you have if you're black and mad?
The same chance as the Rastafarians.
Oh!
You also notice children stare at you while they're with their mothers. One mother with her child, dragging her along by her hand, kept looking around at me. I had to cross the road to get out of the way. Fancy being afraid of a little child. I actually realise why a lot of people who go mad think they're Jesus. It's because they feel persecuted just like him.
Try and persecute you. I had 3 incidents in 2 days. I hadn't had any before and I've been here for 3 months.
I feel very fragmented and out of it. I can't clean my flat, can't decide what to eat or which bill to pay or concentrate on anything for too long. As if I'm in some alien space or parallel world, not connecting with people. I don't want to write about it if I can because I think it's affecting the way people are reacting to me. I think it's suppressed anger. Or it could be that I'm trying to be present, i.e. here and now, because my mind keeps slipping into some apathy or melancholia. I don't hear what people are saying if I'm listening to a talk. A TV program, or even friends talking around a table. When I'm alone with somebody, my attention span is feeble. Something has worried me this afternoon, which a lot of people probably wouldn't think too much about if they were in a cafe.
The waiters wouldn't serve me. It's not that they told me so, it's just that they ignored me for so long. It's because of the space I was in, the energy or the expression on my face. When I entered the cafe, there were waiters available. They were serving other tables, but they were keeping a lookout for other customers. A couple came in, well after me, and sat 2 tables to my right. I knew the waiter would serve them first. He did. I felt like shouting, "Waiter!" or "Garçon!" or something out of frustration.
I decided to wait and see out of curiosity. After what appeared to be a very long time, the waiter finally came over from the serving bar with a look of irritability as though it was a great effort for him. I said...
I thought I was invisible.
He didn't seem to understand. I think he was French or Italian. So I said...
Didn't you see me?
Never answered. Go back to the bar, he spoke to another waiter and did the action of playing the violin. When he came back, he never looked at me, just dumped the tea on the table. I nearly said, "Didn't know you could play the violin," because I didn't want to embarrass him.
My friend came in. The second he sat down, they asked if they could help him. My friend even commented irritably,
"Why can't you just come in?"
The waiters continue to ignore me.
The thought crossed my mind, maybe it's because I look old. A couple of minutes later, an older man came in, started reading a newspaper.
I spoke to my
Within
friend
a
about
minute,
it.
they came up to him.
He said, "Is it because you hadn't had a shave? Because I was growing my beard again."
a man came in who looked like a writer, an artist or a musician. He had, I suppose, about 2 weeks' growth of beard. Even as he sat down, they asked if they could help him.
As I was talking to my friend, concentrating on what he was saying, the waiters kept staring at me from the serving hatch. I wanted some hot water for my tea, so I knew I had to take courage and go to the bar to ask for some. When they gave me the water, they never even looked at me.
The waiter who served my friend looked at him with concern and asked if he wanted anything else. My friend looked up a bit startled and said,
"No, thank you."
I said, out of pique, "I do!" The waiter never even looked at me and just walked away.
Something happened on this day, as well as the previous time I wrote, that quite overwhelmed me.
I went to the community centre that I help out at. Feeling, I suppose, a bit down. I had on a sweatshirt with Les Miserables on the front. And on the back was a picture of a young boy looking quite sad.
I went into a room where there was a group meeting with older people. I noticed a woman I know talking to a volunteer who, apparently, was French. The show, Les Miserables, is of course based on a French story. We were just talking when she noticed my sweatshirt.
Oh, Les Miserables. It suits you, because you look so miserable.
I was taken aback. I suppose because I was feeling vulnerable. The French woman said it again. 3 times. So I said, "I might look miserable, but I feel okay. And I feel very aware of what's going on around me. And sometimes people put on an act, they act happy, but then the mask drops and you see the real person's character revealed."
Later on, I felt irritation bubbling up in me. So I walked to the library, but I couldn't concentrate. So I walked back to confront her. Seeing her in the room, I walked up to her. I said,
"Do you always speak your mind so readily to people you don't know?"
Yes, I'm French. I am an optimistic person, and I am very popular.
That sounds like a put-down to me.
I was only joking.
It sounds insensitive to me. I don't know if she heard me or not. And then
I left.
In the office, I spoke to the woman who put her arm around me. She said, "She sounds very arrogant to say she's very popular." Looking round, I saw in the other room that the French woman could see me talking in the office. So I looked at her and I kept laughing as though I was having a good time. I sort of exaggerated, overdoing it, and kept looking round at her. She shut the door.
The incredible thing was, I started to feel this good feeling stirring in me. I felt happy, as though I had done with something. Instead of walking away and not saying anything and feeling down. Previously, I would carry the hurt around with me, possibly passing the hurt and anger onto somebody else.
I later heard from somebody else that she's quite often rude to people. and that by confronting her it had helped me because I'd nipped it in the bud.
Maybe she'll think twice in the future about being rude to people. I believe it doesn't always help to turn the other cheek.
Later in the afternoon, I met my brother, who I hadn't seen for 6 years. I was overwhelmed by him because of the story he told me. He tried to commit suicide. I was very lucky to be alive. We spoke for 4 hours. I will try and write about it later. 15th of November. When I worked in the hospice, I started to envy the people there, the patients that were dying. I wanted out. Life is too painful, too difficult. The society I knew I don't recognize anymore, but I can't explain what I mean. Maybe another day I'll be able to put it into words. Not today. I suddenly feel tired, sad. So I'm going to stop writing.
Sometimes I have to be careful that I don't get into the idea that I am special. Especially when you live alone. I go to monasteries to meet people.
19.
9.
Gerald, my recovering alcoholic brother, called just before Christmas, 9:30 a.m. one morning, demanding that I go to see him at the hostel. He sounded very angry and uptight. He said he'd been drinking, that he felt depressed. I just got out of the bath. I wasn't quite with it, and I was finding the mornings difficult because I haven't been sleeping very well. I was trying to get it together to see when I could see him when he snapped back at me.
Just got out of the bath!
Just got out of the bath?
We'll get back in the fucking bath then!
I don't think I can see you when you're in this frame of mind. Put the receiver down on me.
Dear Diary, this is my first entry for 22 days. Well, so many negative things have been happening to me. It sometimes becomes laughable. All because of my state of mind, which I can't seem to break free of. I have to watch this. The mind is so powerful it can destroy one.
I had a course of steroids because my asthma became so bad. And ever since then I've been unwell. I became bodily weak. Got a flu or something. Funny, something I don't usually get. Probably because I don't mix with people. I also got a stomach virus which has taken me weeks to shake off. I slept for 2 days when I first had symptoms.
I am trying to invent a new me, so I can break free of this pessimism.
Bought a new book called Follow Your Heart. Saw a woman reading it in a cafe and spoke to her briefly about it. It was on my mind for a week. Then one day, I just went out and bought it.
Lose your dream, lose your mind.
What was that you said?
Oh, nothing really.
No, you said something.
I said lose your dream, lose your mind.
That was on a Rolling Stone record. What's it mean?
It says what it means.
Oh, okay.
There are a lot of things happening on the social benefits front.
Which is making people very anxious.
They're trying to make people work, including single-parent families and disabled people who obviously are unable to work. I have this huge incapacity benefits questionnaire that I have to fill in. If I don't get it right, I'll lose benefits. It's the means test all over again.